friends and lovers. I just finished my first interview, like it was a radio interview for the new book, Sex Shamans, and I wanted to share a few insights. The book literally officially launched yesterday, so it was an interesting experience because I was standing in that moment of I've been visioning, dreaming, desiring the book to be released and out to the world for many years now. It's years in the making. And to actually be in the moment that I had been dreaming of. And it felt, in some ways anticlimactic because it's like an online launch and it's not like I'm at the bookstore, seeing it in bookstores, although it is absolutely available in bookstores. It's just the modern way that we release and launch books now. And especially as an artist, I'm not always in the merchant mode of selling. So just standing at that point in time and recognizing that I had dreamed this moment to come. And yet this is just the beginning. This is the birthing, which means that it may feel like it's like, oh, the long-awaited time. That's actually just starting now. So it'll have its own life. And I was grateful because two things happened that made it feel real for me, not just in a virtual experience. One is that I got my royalty check, like, woohoo! Nothing makes it more real than, money in the bank. And the other is that the publishers set up a radio interview. And that was super fascinating because it's the first time I've really interfaced with the mainstream or the public. Most of my work is by natural resonance. I'm surrounded with like-minded, like-hearted people who are ecstatic or sex positive or queer, kinky, or poly. And so to actually talk to someone who's like, I'm monogamous and I'll be so till death do me part, and I have questions for you. It was really fun to hear this perspective. And I wanted to share, it was like a talking to a devil's advocate. I'm, so passionate about the teachings in the Sex Shaman book, which, by the way, it's not like a didactic, educational how-to. It's actually like deep, personal, juicy stories of people's lives, like their personal narratives, and they're written from the heart. And it's like it takes the reader on a journey. So it's not a teaching tool, but it does have like various practices after each chapter on like how you can cultivate your own sexual shaman path and practice. And so it's really sweet to see friends and family live on Facebook. Yes, it has been a long time since I've been doing live videos. I've probably had my head down in the book, like this and another, as well as traveling. But here I am. And what I wanted to share is this devil advocate experience. And one of the questions that he asked was, why? Why did you choose this path? And I know it's a cliche to say this path chose me, but it was very clear that in all the stories of the 20 co-authors that wrote the book, that every one of them got signposts in their life like, hey, this is an ordinary reality and you're supposed to be working in this extraordinary path. Like, the signs were spirituality, sexuality, like time to wake up and be a way shower for others. And there's really no option. Like when spirit comes in and says, this is what you have to do, you can say, all right, I'm going to pretend to do a 9-to-5 job. But that would just be a farce, really, like I'm not fooling anybody. So there is a strong sense of like, why? is beyond reason. There's no rational explanation for why. It's spirit guided. And the same is true about writing this book. Just yesterday, one of my dear friends called me and she says, "I've got this great idea for an anthology, and I want to run it by you because you just finished editing a collection of stories, and I want to see, how did you do that? Like, what inspired you, and how did you learn how to do it?" And I'm just like, followed my gut. I like got the direction. This is what needs to happen, and this is what we did. And it was fun to feel that it's not there's obviously a lot of reason and logic and communication involved and a lot of skills involved, but the actual like how to do it was very magic. There was a lot of synchronicity in it. So the other question that challenged me in a beautiful way, it felt good to have someone say, okay, I'm not polyamorous, I'm not kinky or queer, or I'm really like, this is my world. What's this book have for me in it? And I was really clear, like the book, certainly isn't for everyone, but everyone does have a mystical experience in lovemaking. Like there comes a point in which you're, even if you're like celibate and you're self-pleasuring, the orgasmic state itself provides like a glimpse into oneness, or an experience where the veils drop and you're elated and expanded. And how can we actually cultivate that experience into a spiritual path? And it doesn't matter what you're, who you're attracted to or how you run your relationships. What matters is your relationship to source energy and also the life force energy. And are you willing and able to let go of veils of shame and guilt and fear in order to expand into the healing and the divination and the revelation that's possible when you can circulate your sexual energy and use it as medicine, to go on healing journeys and to really listen to the wisdom of the body. And so to share that, it really does feel like it's a universal teaching. Like it's not about your identity or how alternative you are. It's about, at the root of what humanity is, like where we all came from, what we're all here for. And so I felt really good being able to share that, and also acknowledging that not everybody's ready for that, not everybody's interested in that. And I'm, sincerely sending this message out to those who are ready for it and resonant with it. So that's exciting. Like I'm at this precipice, excited to see who's called, who's gonna like vibrate with these teachings and with these teachers, and in essence be part of the movement. And also, I was grateful that he, and I'm sincere, he did it with a lot of grace, but he was willing to kind of play the like judgmental one too. So his question became like, all right, what if I get, this is, sure, sex is great, feels good, it's pleasurable, but why the big like production about it, or obsession with it, or even the making it more than it is? Like everybody knows sex is great, feels good, but why does it have to be spiritual and sacred and all the bells and whistles? And when he asked this, and it points to the people who have a lot of judgment on this path and do say, oh, are you sex obsessed? Are you addicted? Are you, is this a healthy path? And And this is, even beyond the conversation of consent, which we covered, how consent is really the foundational doorway, that this work is for people who really have a strong sense of boundaries and attunement to what's congruent and what people are really ready for. So that's the doorway, that's the foundation. But beyond that, as a path, the practices of sexual shamanism are more than just pleasure. They're way more than just, oh, it's a great chemical high that's good for your health. It's like, this is a multidimensional journey. And the thing that touched me was how when people come with judgment on not just the book, but judgment on, someone's ecstatic sexual expression, it's usually an indication of their own shame, of their own stuckness. And I got touched by how sad it is that some people will see this path and have all these judgments on it. And really, I don't care about what people think of my path or my practice or tribe. Like, I don't have cause to be defensive about it, because I know who I am and I'm doing that in the world. But when I come to face with, even haters or hate mail, underneath that is a sad, scared, usually pretty terrified person who's threatened by my full expression because it rattles their world. And this is something I learned really early on from Charles Muir when I first got my barrage of hate mail. And I was, I remember it was after the Tyra Banks show. I was like under the covers feeling like so judged. I got a letter that said that my son is going to go to hell and that I've psychologically damaged him because of my lifestyle. And I was crushed. I was a new mother. I was crushed. And Charles called and he was just like, can't you see? He's like, this letter is a prayer request. This poor soul needs our prayers. They're hurting that bad that they want to lash out and, curse your son. And I was just like, yeah, this is sad. And I've ever since, seen that kind of a judgment and hatred and challenge as like, oh, wow, this isn't about me. This is about this person's soul crying out for freedom and threatened by my freedom and wanting the safety of their status quo. They don't want their world to fall apart. And the reality is the path that I'm on and that we're on as sexual, pioneers and explorers is a path with no map. It is a pioneering, off the charted course, past the beaten path. It's not an easy one. And so it is important, I think, when we're doing this work to stay connected to others so that we're not so alone in it. And then also to have compassion for those that are threatened by it and to stay open to some of the inquiries that come at us. Like, okay, what messages, what lessons are there for us? So that's been part of my morning contemplation on the day after launching the book, and really looking forward to more dialogue, more conversation. I'm going to put together a Zoom with some of the co-authors so that we can share our experiences collectively. And big invitation for you to go to the publisher Inner Traditions, check out, there's all kinds of amazing occult books there. They're really fun, and they're also offering a discount. So would love for you to get your copy and help review it on Amazon and support the launch. I'm hoping for, I'm not going for hey, a big bestseller on first day. I'm actually interested in slow, sustainable, getting the word out there. I really want these messages to inspire and empower, readers, people that don't come to my workshops and retreats and haven't met me. Like, this is a way to really connect intimately with those that I may never meet. So I am so grateful for your watching and supporting, and look forward to seeing where this journey takes us. Thanks.